We are live. Good morning, everyone. This is Travis from Tradewithtravis, Capital Expert Advisor Reviews on YouTube. I hope everybody's doing very well um, on this Monday morning, Martin Luther King Day for us in the States. I hope everybody's doing very well when it comes down to that. Let me go ahead and get through the disclaimer, and then after that, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. And understand that trading involves risks. It involves risks of being able to make money. Also involves risks of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, I'm going to show myself onto the screen as I end up going through and getting everything goes situated. Going to talk about the economic calendar. Going to end up talking about what we're doing with our challenges that we're going through and being able to go from that. Super excited about that. In day, I believe this is day 6 overall. That has some ups and has some downs, just like anything else. Uh, as we go through and get everything else situated. But wanted to make sure we end up taking the time to be able to talk about it so everybody can be able to know, uh, everyone can kind of be able to know where we're at, kind of be able to help out when it comes down to being able to take a look at trading ideas and all other stuff. The U.S. market is not open today for its banks and everything else. I'm going to show myself on the screen. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing very well. If you would do me a favor, type in hi in the chat box and tell me if my sound is good. I want to make sure everything is going from there. Arizona, what's going on? Hope everything's going. I hope everything's going well with you. Um, but yeah, tell me if my sound is good. Just want to make sure everything is good overall. And I see that my camera is kind of out of whack, but we'll make that work. Um, there we go. There we go. Thorson, what's going on? Hope everything's going well with you. Um, cool. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today, obviously, we know the United States dollar, well, United States is not open when it comes down to banks because of Martin Luther King Day. So everything that's going to end up being moved is really going to be based off of other pairs, other currencies, and everything else. So, to give you an example, Euro, United States dollar is going to end up being based off of what's happening with the Euro, not really going to be based off of what's happening with the United States dollar. All the indexes and every other pair that we're going to end up trading or that we do trade are going to be based off of movement that's going to be outside or effects that's going to end up being outside of what's happening with the United States. So, with that being said, for people that are going through challenges and everything else like that, this is one of those days to where you have to be able to make a decision on do you want to gamble or do you want to sit up there and say, hey, it'll probably be a little bit more conservative just to be able to wait until everybody kind of opens up and you get more volatility. I lean to wait and get more volatility. But I also end up saying, kind of like what I ended up saying yesterday, get the day in. Make sure that, get your hand off your eye, baby. Good morning. Good morning. Well, you look like you slept good. Oh, come on. Say hey to everybody. Say good morning, everybody. Hey, everybody. Say good morning. Hey, everybody. This is Mouse. And it's the pig. The pig said, oink. Let's go. Huh. Keep it down. Go in the living room, okay? um, let's see. There we go. There we go. Miles, everybody said good morning. Um, but yeah, this is one of those days where if it looks like it's going to end up passing, you look like you got the volatility, you're going to have to make your own decision on what you want to be able to do with that. I know yesterday there was a trade on Euro United States dollar. I ended up passing up on it. Actually ended up being a win. I know that US 30 looks like it may be close to being able to take a trade a little bit later on. I probably may end up allowing it to be able to take. But obviously, the biggest thing that we want to be able to ensure is that every trade that we end up having is positive because you got to get that 8 to 10%, but also you have to be able to get the day. So even if you don't trade today from a live perspective or automated perspective, anything else like that, you do have to do some type of micro lot trade just to be able to get the day. Overall, we did that with AJ yesterday. Actually ended up turning into a win. Might end up doing it again with AJ. Who knows? But we end up going from there. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and go into the big three. That's also end up being a good time to be able to talk about what pairs that you would like to be able to talk about. You want to go ahead and place it inside of the chat box. You can go ahead and do that now. Taking a look at both pairs. We'll see. we'll see how everything is kind of going from there overall. Um, cool, good to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening with the United States dollar index. We'll take a look at oil. We'll take a look at gold. The reason why we do those is because they have strong correlations with the United States dollar, Canadian dollar, and Japanese yen and Australian dollar, respectively. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at US 30. We'll take a look at NAS 100 and any other pair that y'all would like to be able to take a look at overall as we go through this. So, United States dollar index, as we go through it, take a look at it from a weekly perspective first. What is happening? Market is bearish. We have a clear sign that there is that the market has been oversold at this particular point. It is in the buy zone. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's ready to be able to push up, but we also are pushing towards the inner trend line at this particular point right here. I'm going to put an arrow right here at this particular point that y'all can be able to take a look at. Doesn't necessarily mean that the market is going to bounce off today, and I do expect that there's not going to end up being much of any movement going into this morning. But we end up taking a trade on this, I believe, about 5 days ago, where we end up saying that the market ended up breaking below 12,814, then we was interested in being able to sell. Based off of that movement, we end up saying that the market will end up going to 12,630. 12,630 is the next support where the market could be able to go based off of these black dots that I end up having right here. And just based off of price action, I still do believe that the market is going to end up falling down that low. The question is, I know for me, is should I go ahead and just look at being able to take partial profit as the market is looking like it's starting to bounce up? I believe that I am probably going to end up taking a little bit of partial profit, and then after that, leaving the rest to allow the market to be able to go. If you're not in at this particular point in time, I would say take a look at a counter trend line break first, especially in the 2 hour in the sell zone to be able to make a move. Do not expect that it's going to end up being today. That's why I think that you probably should look at being able to take profit, just because it's a bank holiday and not a lot of people are going to end up being not a lot of people are going to end up trading today overall when it comes down to that movement. He said everything ended up saying that dollars waiting for news this week. I agree. I mean, we're in the third week of the month. Remember, typically that's when you end up having FOMC. Typically, Jerome Powell ends up speaking around that time. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what's happening the rest of this week. Only have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Wow, it did not show me anything else. Wow. Okay, cool. Okay, beginning date, ending date. Give me the whole week. Tuesday, typically. Thursday, I'm not seeing nothing. Friday, I'm not seeing nothing. We have retail sales that's going to end up being on Wednesday. That probably might end up moving the market a little bit. Inflation's been moving the market. Obviously, retail sales are probably going to end up moving the market because it's going to be based off of December. So if we end up having good news based off of Christmas and everything else like that, then the market should be able to make some type of movement. I don't think that we're probably going to end up seeing good numbers from the United States dollar for this retail sales. Type in the chat box. Let me know what you think. Do you think y'all that we're going to end up having good numbers from retail sales? Do you think that overall that this retail sales is going to end up being better than that 0.1? Or even if it's better than that 0.1 number, is it going to end up making the United States dollar be positive? That'll be the question that I'm going to leave out to everybody. I would like to be able to get everybody's opinion on that overall. But with that being said, just to kind of end off on United States dollar index. Not interested in being able to do nothing yet on this one overall. I would like to be able to see how the market kind of reacts tomorrow right around 9 p.m. or later on right around 9 p.m. today, going into the morning time in the London session to see how the market's going to react. I don't think that we're going to end up getting anything great for its overall movement today. U.S. oil. U.S. oil is still in consolidation. We end up having a strong consolidation from $70 a barrel to $82.50. Since then, as long as the market stays inside of this overall range, I'm not interested in being able to make a move. So that one's pretty quick. Nothing to be able to do on this one. Canadian dollar, U.S. Canadian dollar, I would not look at being able to take a trade because we are in consolidation unless you are a range-bound trader. If you're a range-bound trader and you like being able to buy support, selling that resistance, and doing everything inside of there, more than welcome to be able to take a look at this even more. But until this market breaks out of this area, there's nothing to be able to do. Gold ended up breaking out of the area where we thought it was going to end up going. We ended up taking a trade at 1811 to 1872 at one point. Currently, the market has gotten back up to the 1900 level. So, with that being said, we're going to take a look at this from a weekly and a daily, kind of clear up some of the stuff that we have been looking at, and kind of get a better thought process about where the market is going. At this particular point, I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that gold is going to end up getting up to I believe that gold is going to end up getting up to 2070. Do you think the oil will go to 63 as a D extension? Let me take a look at that real quick. Just to be able to answer your question. When you're saying 63, you believe that the market, you believe it's going to end up falling. Oh, you believe that it. So yes, we end up having 63.45 as a position where I thought that the market was going to end up falling down. Now, remember when I end up saying that, Arizona, I end up saying that based off of it still being somewhat of the summer months, and um, remember in the winter months, typically, especially around here, oil typically goes up in price. So I was still kind of bullish, but I was like, if it was going to fall, then that would be the position where it's going to go. I don't think that it's going to get down that low anymore. Matter of fact, I think that it has a better chance of getting up to 82.50 than it would be falling down to 63.45. Solely because supply and demand. People are going to need it just to be able to warm up their houses. So it's probably going to end up keep on rising up in price compared to falling. So to answer that question simply, no, I don't think it's going to go down to 63. If it's going to go down to 63, it's going to go down literally probably in the mid months, right before the summertime. Okay, gold. Once again, just an opinion, obviously. Um, Gold, as we end up taking a look at this movement, weekly D extension has already been completed. Market was in consolidation from 1618 up to 1728. That was the range, or this little yellow area where the market actually was in the first place. Then from there, the market ended up breaking out, completing the D extension at 1800, which was the second portion of consolidation. Since then, the market has broken the third portion of consolidation up to 1872. And the next phase of consolidation is the larger scale consolidation that we end up talking about overall, which is 2070. Now, I'm going to get rid of this blue areas where we end up getting in the trades, including this area right here. And I can get rid of that right now as well because we don't need that. We are truly now in the middle of this consolidation, being able to see where the market is going to end up going. Now, based off of price action, 1918 is the free run area all the way up to 2070. That's my opinion. I think that we probably might end up getting a little bit of hesitation right around that 1970 area. But other than that, I do believe that this market is going to keep on rolling and keep on going up to the upside. What's going on, Block? Block, you should be swimming in cash right now. The way the Bitcoin and everything else is rolling, you should be swimming. At this particular point, it wouldn't be surprising to me if you're taking another trip somewhere. You're probably jet setting somewhere at this particular point in time. But now, 2070 is the position where I think that the market's going to end up potentially going. The market's in the sell zone, so I'm kind of hesitant to be able to make any type of movement when it comes down to this. There will be a transition trade that's going to end up happening in the near future. The question is when is it going to end up being overall? From a daily perspective, we see that the weekly and the daily is in the sell zone. The market has already completed the D extension at 1891. For me, that means that I'm not trading this anymore, obviously, and because we are in the middle of that area. Yeah, I've seen all of them. I've seen each and every one of them, Block. Trust me, your success has not been unnoticed. Congratulations once again. as we end up going from there. So gold, I'm not going to end up doing anything off of as of yet either, and kind of going from there. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin ended up popping up to 20 the last time I took a look at it. We got to see where it is now, but last time I looked at it, it was up at 20. Um, let's see. All right, so for me, taking a look at every position that I thought that Bitcoin was going to end up going to at this particular point, it has obliterated all of those positions, which is good. Obviously, if the United States dollar is going to end up getting weak, then obviously people are going to end up moving to alternative ways of being able to create income, and obviously Bitcoin is one of them. It fell all the way down to 15,800. If you did not get in at 15,800, based off of that accumulation phase from that we end up seeing from early October to basically the beginning of January, then you just missed out on the first wave. Not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. You just missed out on the first wave. Now, with that being said, the question is, what should we look at being able to do now? The weeklies in the sell zone. I mean, the dailies in the sell zone. I do not worry about the weekly chart, but I do expect that this market is probably going to end up falling. These areas where the market end up breaking the resistance will probably end up being new supports. So the question is, how I guess how much steam does Bitcoin have overall when it comes down to its movement? Is it enough steam to be able to only fall down to 20,000, 20,670, I mean 20,370, and then after that pop up, or will it fall back down to the mean of right around that 19,660 position? I will almost say I will almost say that it will probably fall back down to this little middle area, this little mean area right here, before being able to pop back up, and then kind of go from there. Block is saying that that's a 200 MA bounce, so 19,500 or 19,400 will probably end up being that number. That makes sense because that'll basically be the middle of the consolidation that was here from this range of August, from August 16th all the way until late October, before the market actually ended up making its movement. But I do expect that if you are looking at being able to get in Bitcoin and kind of riding this movement out, obviously, um, as soon as it ends up falling down to that 19,660 area, 19,400 area, I do believe that the next movement that it's going to go up to is probably 22,750, and then after that, getting back up to the 25,000 area. So please keep that in mind for the people that like to be able to trade Bitcoin for long-term positions and kind of going from there. It has a little bit more movement that you can be able to take advantage of, or overall when it comes down to those positions. But for me, it's not right now. I'll wait for it to be able to fall just a little bit more first, and then after that, kind of go from there. But um, if I'm thinking that, everyone else is probably thinking that. So please keep in mind that you may get maybe 1, possibly 2 hours of a shot to be able to make that move, unless there's some type of news that may end up hindering it from being able to completely, um, unless there's some good news that may end up making it just fully bounce back up to the upside. All right, so there we go. Keep that in mind. Bitcoin really not nothing else to do right now at this particular point. Even in the 2 hour, we can see that the market is consolidating and kind of going from there. Um, Hold on, before I kind of close off on Bitcoin, because I've been noticing this, and this is telling me that we have strong momentum. Um, and Block, I'm going to ask you this because I think that I know that you're seeing it kind of firsthand. Um, we've been getting the same movement as what ended up happening with US 30 and NAS 100 over the summer. Um, Consolidation, big breakout. Consolidation, a slight consolidation. In this case, if we go to the 1 hour, you'll be able to see it clearly. 1 hour consolidation, big breakout. 1 hour consolidation, big breakout. All that means to me is all of these low volume areas have end up getting destroyed, and we're at a high volume node right here. I'm going to take a look at that on TradingView. Let's see what that says. But tell me if you've noticed that. I'm almost for certain that that may end up being true before even taking a look at the charts. But Yep, here it is. Yeah, that it was very simple to see that that move was going to end up happening as soon as it ended up breaking, and we can see where it ended up. Yeah, that's exactly what ended up happening. So, anyone else doesn't know the vortex strategy? Consolidation inside of a high volume node, we don't trade it. We want to be able to trade the low volume nodes, but you want to be able to trade the low volume nodes to the next low volume node, or you want to be able to trade inside of the low volume nodes and get out right before the next high volume node. Um, and from there, that's the reason why this market, you could truly end up seeing, and it's very clear that as soon as it ended up breaking 17,300, that there was free run area all the way up to 18,850. Then after that, it consolidated a little bit, just a little bit, broke out of this area at 19,450, and then from there ended up consolidating right at the top of the consolidation points or the highs that we end up having right over here. Um, Based off of what ended up happening in November. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you end up looking at it like that. Um, I've been so stuck on indexes and trying to get everything done with this, trying to get everything done with the expert advisors that I didn't pay attention to that. Um, but I don't trade Bitcoin like that as a whole, so it makes for me it doesn't necessarily pay me no mind. But Euro United States dollar. Let's go with some of the trades that we ended up talking about a little bit earlier. Last week we ended up having a trade on US 30 where we ended up having a buy stop of 107, 107.58 with a stop loss of 108. I mean 107.24 with a take profit of 108.40. Type in a while, yes, if you end up taking that trade. If you did, that end up completing a full take profit. Money's in the bank when it came down to that one, check mark. Uh, Based off of this one, we literally did this one, I think, in the Wednesday session that we end up doing. So if you didn't get all the information on that one on the Wednesday session, please make sure that you end up taking a look at that as a way of being able to know. Now, currently, the question is, what is happening off of this one, and where's the market going to end up going? We're going to go back to the daily, and let's see where we're at. From a daily perspective, we're in a from a daily perspective, we're still in the midst of a little bit of a low volume node. Uh, Come here. We end up having to top our resistance at 108.50, where we end up saying that that's where I take profit. It's going to end up being the daily is in the sell zone overall. Please keep that in mind. Um, I think that the United States dollar is going to have to recover a little bit. It's going to have to recover a little bit first before being able to make a move. Um, Need a little bit more information. Obviously, we see that the market is in consolidation. I'm going to go to the 15-minute and box that out for everybody. Um, Remember, after the market ends up completing, going through a vortex area, then after that, um, consolidation actually ends up happening. So we are in the middle of this consolidation kind of building out. Um, but the market has not hit the bottom at least twice. So that means to me that we still we may see the market fall today, but I don't think it's going to break through. I think it will get down to the consolidation point of 107, 107.95. So we can say basically 108. I think that the market will get to 108, but I think that it may fall just a little bit, but probably end up gradually getting back inside of this zone, especially with not a lot of people trading today um, before the market actually ends up making its movement. So ultimately, let me tell you what I think is going to end up happening today. Obviously, we see the market pop up, end up completing that overall move that we end up talking about. Obviously, end up hit resistance right here, end up hit resistance right there, hit resistance right there, hit resistance right there. That's the fourth time. It only done hit support right here, which means that I think that the market's going to fall down to support. It's going to try to go, but then after that, I think it's probably going to end up sinking back inside of this overall movement. So if you're looking at anything else, it probably will be some type of a scalp inside of this overall area. We do have a counter trend line break inside of this overall area, but I think it will fall down to 108 overall. Yes, we already talked about U.S. dollar index. No movement up, no movement overall. Market's already done completed a weekly and daily D extension, so I do expect that a transition trade is going to end up happening at this particular point. But right now, nothing to be able to do. Obviously, I'm not going to trade this. If you know me, I don't trade inside of high volume nodes. So there's no reason for us to be able to trade inside of spaces like this. But I do expect that the market will fall ultimately and kind of settle right here, and then after that, start kind of building back up into that area. But right now, nothing on that. So let's tie that into what's happening with this with the private firms and everything else like that. FTMO, we've already done past that last week. My Forex funds, we're in the middle of the 8th day on this one. I'm pretty much basically at the beginning balance, and I don't want to trade it today. I'm gonna listen to my gut and not trade it today. I'm probably just gonna do a micro lot trade just to be able to get the day. But I believe I'm gonna listen to my gut on this one and say just wait until everybody else gets in. We got 20 something days to be able to finish it. I think that we can be able to do it from there. Any questions, any pairs that y'all like to be able to talk about as we get ready to close out? Any pairs that anybody else would like to be able to talk about? Okay, cool. If you like what you end up doing, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. I do appreciate each and every person that ends up popping in. Obviously, it is not necessarily the greatest trading day that we're going to end up seeing. So please keep that in mind. Don't waste your funds on a day that's going to end up being slow. Know that we're going to end up getting some volatility a little bit later on this week. Obviously, we got retail sales on Wednesday, especially for people that are going through challenges. Be smart with the way that you end up taking your trades. Obviously, being able to manage everything that happens with that. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in the next video. We won't do one later on tonight, but we will do one in the morning as we end up going through and getting everything else situated. Everybody, take it easy.